Hello, my name is Becky Metcalfe, and on behalf of Design Centre Chelsea Harbour, a very warm welcome to the collection highlights of Autumn-Winter 2021. New season collections speak of creative confidence. There's a feel-good mood, a new awakening as we emerge from these unprecedented times. Well, there's a wealth of references that run through the design DNA of 120 international showrooms here. We haven't got time to mention every one, but we will give you a flavour of what's to come. It's a real celebration of individuality, freedom and change. So let's start with our first design direction. This year, the 1970s is back, not only on the catwalk, but also in music. Think Harry Styles in those Gucci tank tops, or the dance floor escapism of Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia album. Psychologists say people look back affectionately in times of transition. When the present feels bumpy, you revert to happier, carefree times. For interior design, the 1970s is not about rigid recreation, but inspiration. So forget hippie chic. It's all about re-evoking good vibes in an era of cultural shifts. So we're heading out for some serious glamour at Studio 54, when the soundtrack was Chaka Khan and Good Times by Chic was on the playlist. Going out, dressing up and dancing until the small hours meant liberation. It was high octane, high profile, with style stealers Bianca Jagger, Grace Jones and Cher making regular appearances. Today, prints reminiscent of those created by Dan von Furstenberg and Stephen Burrows are bold and fun. Ritonel from Casamance and Itami from Romo, with its fluid flame-stitch motifs, epitomise the look. And there are plenty of lush velvets too, from Smart Arido at Colony, Couture, a new range of cut and uncut applique velvets in statement geometrics and chevrons from Romo, as well as colourful carpets, the lovely pile at Stark Carpet. The mini orb portable lamp in alabaster by Collier Webb would not look out of place in this night spot, while Vaughan's Saborn side table would be the perfect place to put your drink on. The tactile, textured brass levers and handles from new arrival Studio Frankie evoke the sculptural, organic aesthetic of jewellery designer Elsa Peretti. Head to Studio Frankie in Design Centre North to see their jewellery for the home. What about these? The 3D terracotta tiles from Via Arcadia. They're reminiscent of the Robert Indiana's Love sculpture. It was created in 1970 and stood on the corner of 55th and 6th Avenue. It was an evocative emblem and symbol of freedom and hope. Talking of hope, let's head to Brazil, Mexico and Venezuela. Mid-century modern design was not limited to the West. Latin America was home to influential designers who poured their creativity and excitement about the advance of modernity into their work. Taking principles learned from Bauhaus, they applied them in local materials, tying in traditional Aztec and Inca influences alongside folk motifs. It was a time of enormous promise, growth and urbanization. Many designers were influenced by architecture. New cities like Brasilia, Brazil's federal capital, helped shape their vision. But Latin modernists were all united in one aim: to reflect the promise of the future. Let's look at some examples that capture this trend today. We love the strong looks of the Pinnacle table by Turi, with its sculptural legs, and the Altar range by Daniel Roos for Pierre Frey. Notice the rounded lines and organic forms. More examples include the Rattan Hamza chair from Arterias and the Akiro mirror from Parada with its cylindrical marble base. Strong shapes are reflected in fabrics too. The Dixon printed embroidery by Schumacher has real impact, while opening from Zimmer and Road is a lively mosaic in coordinating shades. There are more graphic patterns from Kirkby while Camango has vibrant velvets with evocative names and colours like Iguazu and Brazilian Noir. Tones by Philip Jeffries is intricately made. Paper is folded, cut, layered and coloured before being placed in a graphic pattern to create extraordinary wall coverings. Let's go on to our next trend. The sets of Halston, the latest series from Netflix, have been brilliantly created. The US designer's signature office on the 21st floor of Olympic Tower was an iconic setting. It had interrupted views of the Manhattan skyline, floor-to-ceiling windows, sectional sofas, and red lacquered furniture, not to mention masses of expensive orchids. Orchids are part of my process. You can't put a budget on inspiration, says Ewan McGregor, getting into his role as the fashion designer. For Halston, it was all about the detail, and the series oozes the power and confidence of the era. He was at the top of his game, creating simple, slinky designs for women taking charge of their lives. Let's see some examples of this trend, which is fierce, strong, and does not shy away from making a statement. Luxury fabrics and metallic surfaces are important. The fabric by Studio Pepe for Elitist reflects New York's famous skyscrapers, while the Carlton fabric by Mizia and the Nova Wall Light by Glady Lighting have the Art Deco vibe of the Chrysler Building. The Hidden Hills modular sofa by Turi would bring a loungy comfort, and Hide and Seek by Pietro Russo for Galotti and Regici, with its rotating shelves, add a red lacquer pop so favoured by Halston. Simple silhouettes are key to this look, from a sleek metallic Carla table lamp by Circa Lighting to the Solato cabinet by De Castelli at Tolgard. This is a fascinating piece. Each brass panel is non-identical and reveals a secret drawer. It's all about the detail. Notice the exacting shape of the Broadway chair from Ekund at Tolgard. The turned side rails pointing upwards make a strong statement. And what about the Galleria Daybed by Alexander Lamont, which combines meticulous upholstery and shagreen? But these little semi-precious aventurine stones add a finishing touch. Even the fabric from Schumacher has a Alexander Cordell sculptural quality. This one is called Circuit Carbon. Echo Trading will be opening in time for Focus 21, and there'll be a curated selection of hand-finished products to choose from. This console is glamorous and seductive, and we love the solid, hand-cast dark bronze patina. I think it would be a perfect addition to this glamorous look. Moving away from the high energy and glamour of city living, things are starting to get curiouser and curiouser. Let's open the door to something magical and highly immersive. Welcome to Wonderland. This look celebrates curiosity and is the perfect antidote to staring at a computer screen all day. Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland is currently being celebrated at the V&A, and an exhibition showing the work of surrealist Eileen Ager is on at the Whitechapel Gallery. In many ways, this look is perfect for now. Alice herself is a symbol of empowerment, changing and adapting to new, often strange realities. So let's look at some examples as we go down the rabbit hole. This Palermo wall covering and border by Ixel transports you to another land, combining patterns of faux stone marquetry and weather-beaten marble. I think they look like chess pieces, which fits in rather well with the Alice inspiration. In this strange wonderland, there are fantastical animals. Take a look at the Wildwood and Roxton fabrics by Jane Churchill at Colfax and Fowler, or the exotic birds in the Nisney fabric by James Malone at Altfield. There are even benevolent, not malevolent, Chinese dragons on fabrics from Watts of Westminster. It's all rather surreal. What about these? The leaves on the Virginia creeper are not what they seem. In fact, they're made from copper and brass. The green is the effect of oxidization. It's a rather special piece by De Castelli, and you can find it at Tolgard. Even the Benedict badminton bench by McKinnon & Harris has a strange Gothic quality, while the desk from Paolo Moschino has an unusual lacquered finish and bamboo legs. Well, we've seen a lot of colour and pattern so far, so here's a mini trend we've also noticed. There's long been a love of white interiors. We have Sairi Morn to thank for the first white-on-white space, which she did in a music room in Chelsea in 1927. In the 1940s, titanium dioxide introduced the first bright white, and in the 1960s, of course, there was pop art. Then we had the minimalist look. In the pandemic era, white might be considered not only fresh, but also desirable and clean. For a modern twist, we now need to reconsider how white is being used in interiors. And this season, it needs to be soulful, textural and sculptural. More Barbara Hepworth and Giacometti than Purcell. It needs to feel as good as it looks too. A new exhibition, The Making of Rodin at the Tate, features an array of plaster casts. In lighting, there's a predominance of gesso, including the aloe wall sconce from Alexander Lamont and the dove chandelier from Julian Chichester. Astral by Paolo Moschino at Nicholas Haslam is cast in plaster. Soft underfoot, white carpets by Esty Barnes at top floor have been surface carved by skilled artisans to give a unique 3D effect. While the Torino lever from Studio Franchi is made from glass on the island of Murano in Italy. One of the most used elements in the home, hardware needs to fit in your hand but also add that final flourish. The Litho collection by young designer Guillaume Delvigne for Piafre has an extraordinary monolithic quality. Rigorous and uncluttered, the sculptural forms are fully upholstered. Interiors often have a mix of design and cultural influences, and this season sees the rich vibrancy of Africa taking centre stage. Origins is a debut collection from the Black Artists and Designers Guild for S. Harris. 5 designers honour the roots of nomadic artists, indigenous makers and creators from Africa, as well as Southeast Asia and the Pacific Isles. Artisanship is key to the collection, with a particular emphasis on braiding, woodworking and beading, and you can see it all at Tenon Giggle. Basket weaving is a centuries-old craft in Africa, and ukili is a form of basket weaving taught by women in Zanzibar. It's notable for its plaiting and braiding. The wall covering of the same name from the Origins collection would look great with Heath Ratton cocktail table from Arterias. Origin also has beautiful beaded tapes, and more of them later, but new embroidered tapes can also be seen at Christian Lee. Well, Africa, of course, has a long history of textiles, from batiks and wax prints, Kenyan kokoyas and Cuba cloth made from woven palm leaves. There is an array of unique patterns to choose from. This season, many showrooms are offering striking linear geometrics that evoke African textiles. Massif is a new wool bouclette from Casala Ulez. There's Stroham's Varanasi and Art Decora's Vasari, to name but a few. Aderico from Liliev is a geometric fabric that's the result of a collaboration with Maison Loulou, a big name in design in 1950s France. So this is an exciting new collaboration. For me, these patterns also remind me of the ancient city of Djenne in central Mali. The vertical buttresses made of mud have been baked hard in the sun. It's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is recognised as an important representation of Islamic architecture in sub-Saharan Africa. Well, as well as natural tones, there's a real joyful vibrancy and colour to this look. You can see this at Tim Page Carpets, where new designs have a Kenta feel, and at Tissu de Laine, where the new Titli and Mar designs evoke the colour and beauty of Africa. Look out for Mali and Bogolan. Bogolan is in fact another name for mudcloth, another famous African textile. There's also the influence of North Africa, with arabesque borders from Ixal and Berber wall coverings from Andrew Martin. All colour trends are cyclical. When we're living in a time of discord, we often retreat to a palace of calm and balance. So it's no surprise that there are lots of pastels. These hues have a lovely sense of ease. From the Abstract Rug by Jennifer Manners to the Mimic Moth, the 3D soft swathed wall covering by Moy for Arte, there is a gentle softness both in texture and pattern. Pay attention to the rounded shapes too. There are no sharp angles here. Nothing is rigid or has a straight structure. Look at these rotten tables by Etimo. They'd look wonderful in an outside space. However, you can subvert the saccharine with a hint of Luxe Metallic. A gold shade perhaps on the bodice by Bella Fagora, a hint of Lurex in Wool Classics Fusion Carpet, or what about adding a Majani or Hikari tape to a scheme from S. Harris at Tenon Giggle? They all add a new, sophisticated dimension. ABI Interiors, a new brand from Australia, will be opening a showroom in time for Focus. They're known for their tapware, their fixtures, and they're beautiful and very glamorous, and you'll see lots of metallics in their showroom too. But going back to pink, well, pink is a very hopeful colour, a sign, of course, that everything is going to be okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope we've inspired you with some of the amazing new collections from our showrooms at Design Centre Chelsea Harbour. Now, you can see some of the things that I've mentioned at Focus. It's a date for your diary. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much.